Welcome back to the second episode of the Alec Frengos Show. This is a sports podcast centered around NBA and NFL, and today we will be going over some NBA stuff. The first topic we'll be going over is the Celtics and Heat Game 7 reaction. Is Jaylen Brown worth a Supermax contract? NBA Finals prediction. Bam Adebayo, would you rather? And who will be the NBA Finals Series X Factor? And we're going to start with the Celtics and Heat Game 7 reaction. What did you think of the game, Joey?
I was pretty shocked at how well the Heat came out. They were honestly they played very well the whole entire game. Butler played well. Caleb Martin, he was hitting threes. Bam, he didn't have the greatest game, but he just held in defensively. And talking about the Celtics, Jaylen Brown, he was dog shit. 1 for 9 from 3, 8 turnovers. Tatum, he's going to use that as an excuse of his ankle injury, but honestly, he didn't play well either.
Jay, what do you think?
I agree with Chunk. I think it just came down to the Celtics literally couldn't shoot for shit. They missed so many threes. Every time they had a chance to get back in it and the crowd got them back into it and they got a turnover or something, they just kept bricking threes. And it's hard to see that, especially in a Game 7 when your two best players, again, are a no-show. I know Tatum had the ankle injury, but, you expect a guy like Jaylen Brown to step up in that moment, and he played horrible, like you said. And the Heat role players, it wasn't even really their star players. Bam and Jimmy didn't do much. I think it was mostly their role players, especially Martin, of course. He was awesome the whole series, and I think he won them that game. So that was good to see.
Try to move a little bit closer to
your
your mic, but you're fine.
Yeah.
My reaction to the Celtics and Heat game, I feel like it's very hard to win when Derek White is your best player the whole series.
Yeah.
Coming up big for them every game and just doing his role. Caleb Martin just took over that game in Game 7, 26 points, I believe, and hitting shots when they needed them. Not garbage time points, shots when they needed baskets.
Yeah.
So, do the Celtics win this game if Jason Tatum does not tweak his ankle on the first play of the game? And I'm going to start. I'm going to say no because the Celtics just didn't have it straight out of the gate. I feel like you could say Jason Tatum, that was a reason why the Celtics got blown out, but I think they still lose the game if he does not tweak his ankle.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think the Celtics can use that as an excuse at all. I mean, Jaylen Brown, he was used as their star player during the game, their number one, but he doesn't have it, and Derek White had to try and step up, but obviously he doesn't have the talent to do that on his own.
100%. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree too. I just think in a moment that big, I don't think the last thing you're thinking about is your ankle injury. When you're the leader of a team like that, that's the last thing you're thinking about. Even, it doesn't matter how bad it is, if you can play, you're going to play, and you're going to play to the best of your abilities. We've seen people do it time and time again in the playoffs. Play through injuries, play through sicknesses, and I think you can't use that as an excuse for why you just became Casper the Ghost and we're barely involved in the game as the supposed best player.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
So, staying on the Celtics topic, I want to know, in your opinion, is Jaylen Brown worth a Supermax contract that he is eligible for? I'm going to start with you, Jay.
Do I think he's worth it? No. But do I think a team will give him it? I think so. I don't think he's going to stay in Boston. I think he has one more year left in Boston, right?
If they don't extend him, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, so I think he'll play out the year in Boston. Obviously, he could get better. But yeah, I see a team who's not the greatest giving him a chance to be a number one option, potentially paying him that. We've seen some questionable guys get lots and lots of money in free agency. So I think he'll definitely get it, but from my point of view, you can't be getting that money if you haven't been a number one, and you haven't, he hasn't been able to show that, especially in the playoffs. And obviously it is kind of a bit of recency bias, but I don't think you can give that much money to a guy who has never been number one in his career. So.
I agree. Joey, what do you think?
He said exactly what I was gonna say. So
The exact same thing?
yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think you made an excellent point. He's not worth the contract, but do I think he will get it? 100%.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
there's going to be the Celtics, if they want to stay contenders, you're going to have to pay Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Because you can't just let him go. And number two, if they decide to move on to him, there's going to be a desperate team that wants someone like him that will give him the contract that he needs. But the reason why I don't think he is worthy of the Supermax is due to things like that happened a couple days ago. He can't use his left hand as an NBA player. He went to his left 3 times, and I think he got stripped 2 times of the ball. He's throwing careless turnovers, and Supermax contracts are supposed to mean, are you a superstar and can carry a team as a number 1 option? That's how I view it. I don't think it's no number 2. And clearly, Jason Tatum got hurt. He went off early. Jaylen Brown just was not able to carry the offense, play make, defend. He's only really good at scoring. That's the only elite trait he has, even if it is elite. Why do you think, going a bit into more depth, why he's not worth it?
Well, I mean, he shot 8 for 23. That's not going to cut it. I mean, he just didn't show his aggressiveness he usually has. He didn't defend the way he usually does during this playoffs. And this is the time you need your big-time players to step up, which he didn't show he could do.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
What do you think? Is there anything else you want to add for
Well,
why he's not?
I will say he still does have a year, and he's still a young player. So, this could be totally different conversation at the end of next year. It's kind of hard to judge now, but I mean, nothing's gonna change with him still being a number 2. So I think my opinion still stands, but I mean, we don't want to blow it out of proportion because he still is a really good player. But I mean, yeah, a lot can change in a year, I guess, is all that I'm saying.
All right. So we're going to move into the NBA Finals prediction.
All right.
And who wants to start?
I'll
wanna start?
start.
Okay.
I have a very similar opinion, but go ahead.
To start off with my prediction, I got Nuggets in 6.
Okay.
I think it's the Joker's time. I think it's time he proves his worth in the NBA, why he's worth his contract, why he's the best player in the NBA. And yeah, it's all Nuggets. They have all the momentum. The Heat, with the Celtics pushing it to 7, I think they may be a bit tired also traveling to Denver and also playing in the altitude could play a factor.
That is going to be a factor. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, my official prediction is Nuggets in 5. I wouldn't be surprised if they came out with a slow start because they haven't played in a while. I guess that can always work the opposite way of what we think it will because they did sweep. I mean, it always is kind of a little bit rough when you get out opening, I find. So I think the Heat could definitely steal a game or two, but the Nuggets are just by far a better team in my opinion, and Jokic is just crazy good. I don't see anybody stopping him. Anthony Davis was supposed to be like the perfect matchup for him, and he put up stats, like crazy stats, night after night, hit clutch shot after clutch shot. It doesn't matter who's guarding him. He's just an incredible player, and he elevates his teammates really well. So I got Nuggets in 5.
Okay, and for my official prediction, I'm going to go the Miami Heat in 7 games. I think a huge factor in this is going to be the Miami Heat role players coming up big once again. They're going to have guys that Denver doesn't have a lot of, guys that will hit shots down the line. They're going to have guys who can step up when Butler's off and score points. Can the Nuggets do that when Jokic is off? Will Murray still play elite how he has been for the last round? I don't know if that's very sustainable, although they have been playing incredible, the whole team. I think that there's going to be a very big piece in this finals that nobody's expecting that we're going to get into later on. But giving your predictions, who would you guys say is your finals MVP? I'm going to start with you.
Finals MVP?
Yeah.
Oh, Nikola Jokic. I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty much whoever puts up the most points, rebounds, assists. So
Okay. What do you have? Got Jokic as well?
Mine's the same, yeah.
Okay. And my finals MVP, I think it's got to be Jimmy Butler. If they want to win the series, he has to be at his best. So getting into that topic, who do you think will be the series X factor for your guys' Nuggets to end up winning the series and for the Heat to win the series? I'm going to start with you, Jay. Lean in a little bit.
Okay. So you want one from both?
No, just
or
the
just
team.
from the Nuggets?
Who's going to be the X factor for them?
It's hard. I mean, it's hard not to pick Jamal Murray. I think I'll go Jamal Murray. I just think the Heat don't really have like a great matchup for him, and he's always like super streaky. But we saw in the Lakers series, when he's on, the Nuggets are unstoppable. So, I mean, when he's at the top of his game, it's very hard to outscore the Nuggets. But he can be streaky, so I think if he can step it up and become more consistent throughout the series and put up the points that he's supposed to and carry the team when Jokic is on the bench, I think that he's definitely the X factor. What do you think, Sean?
My X factor is Michael Porter Jr. He shoots whenever he feels like it, and if those shots do fall, I mean, the Nuggets will outscore the Heat by quite a bit. I don't know if Michael Porter Jr. will guard Jimmy Butler or it'll be Aaron Gordon. I think it'll be Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. It could be Caldwell Pope. You never know. Who knows?
MPJ, I think he's the biggest X factor in this series.
Okay. For my X factor, this is why I honestly think is going to be a huge difference maker in this finals. I'm going to go Kevin Love as my X factor for this series. I think that he is going to be Nikola Jokic's matchup this series. I think it will be Bam Adebayo on Aaron Gordon, and I think they are going to utilize Kevin Love in a way to try to stop Nikola Jokic. Kevin Love has the exact same frame as him. He's been here before. It's a good veteran presence to have around the rim. Get the long passes out like Jokic does as well. And I feel like Kevin Love is going to help the Miami Heat win this NBA Finals. What else he brings to the table? He can space the floor. Like I said again, he's a veteran. He's going to bring good leadership. And I feel like if there's anyone on the team that will be able to contain Nikola Jokic, it will be Bam Adebayo. And I have a feeling that Eric Spoelstra will go to him. What do you think?
I mean, if Anthony Davis couldn't stop him, I don't think Kevin Love's stopping him. But, I mean, realistically, like, you're not really going to stop Jokic, so I think the Heat just got to worry about being able to score.
Stopping him is something you won't be able to do, obviously. There's 5-10 players you can't stop. There's going to have to be you'll only have to contain Jokic, whether that is don't let him make a lot, try to get bodies on him when you're boxing out for rebounds, or you just don't let him score. You take it away and you make Murray go give you 35 a game, Porter Jr. 20, Aaron Gordon's going to have to give some, but I feel like they're going to just call Kevin Love's name and he's going to have to make a big play and step up on the biggest stage to help make the Miami Heat win the NBA Finals. What do you think of me saying Kevin Love is going to do that?
Well, I mean, the Heat play very aggressive help defense.
Yes.
Yeah, so Joker, when he has the ball,
will be
around the free throw line, if they help on Jokic, he can kick out to the corner, to the open guy, and get a lot of assists. So I think the Joker, he'll just continue his dominance. I don't think he can be contained at all. I think it's his time, and yeah.
Okay. Would you rather Bam Adebayo? I'm going to start with the first name. Jaren Jackson Jr.
I'd go Jaren Jackson Jr.
We'll discuss after. What do you think?
I'm going to say Bam, just purely off availability. But I think Jaren Jackson Jr. is better. But I would definitely take... I think just because Bam's just always available, and he's made... How many All-Star games has he made now?
Cut 2, maybe?
Yeah.
2.
I just think he's just a really consistent player. So I think I'd take him over. That's hard, though.
I'm going to go Jaren Jackson Jr. So I think that Jaren Jackson Jr. can obviously stretch the floor. Bam Adebayo can't do that. Jaren Jackson Jr. Defensive Player of the Year. He's a shot blocker, better than Bam Adebayo. And I just feel like he's the way more complete player. Go ahead.
Same thing here. Jaren Jackson Jr., he obviously won Defensive Player of the Year. Bam's main thing is defense, which Jaren Jackson Jr. is better at. Plus, he can score better.
Yep.
The only thing he just is hurt a lot, which I think he can prove down in his future.
You just got to get healthier. That's something you can fix. What do you think? Why do you think Bam's better, in your opinion?
Well, like I said, it's just purely off availability. I agree with everything you guys said. I think Bam does have more versatility in terms of his defense. I think he can guard more of those forwards, but I think Jaren Jackson Jr. scores better. I think he defends. He's especially in the rim protection element. I think he protects the rim better. I just think he's a better player, but it's just he hasn't proven to me that he can stay on the court.
It's fair. That's fair. Okay. Evan Mobley.
I'm going to go Evan Mobley.
I'll go Evan Mobley too.
I'm going to go Bam Adebayo. I think that they do the exact same thing. I think Bam Adebayo just does it a little bit more. Do I think Evan Mobley will be better than Bam Adebayo? Yes, but right now I'm going to take Bam Adebayo. A lot of stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, he does better. Screen assists, one of the best plus minuses in the league, etc. What do you think?
I just feel like Evan Mobley, he's more athletic and he can kind of guard center through small forward, I would say. And he does have a bit of a jump shot too.
Yeah,
respectable.
For me, as of right now, I would take Bam. I think as of next season, I think I would rather Evan Mobley.
Okay.
If you're plugging Mobley into that Heat team, they're not making the finals, in my opinion.
Do you agree with that or disagree?
Disagree.
Why do you think?
You think they'd be in the finals with Evan Mobley?
Actually, no. I feel like the experience factor would play. But yeah.
I think Bam Adebayo's just been in the moment more. Domantas Sabonis.
I'm going to go Sabonis.
Yeah, I'll take Sabonis too.
I'm also going to go Sabonis. I think he's just the way more dominant player. He's more hungry than him. And they do the exact same thing once again. Sabonis does have a better jump shot than Adebayo. That's why I'd take Sabonis a little bit more too.
Sabonis, he just lacks the defensive side as he's kind of undersized.
Yes.
But I feel like he provides enough offensively to overcome that.
Yep.
And he just plays with a lot of finesse in the paint. He has great footwork in the paint.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add. I think I agree with you. What was that you said?
Start with you, Jay. Draymond Green.
Oh, I'm taking Bam.
Bam all day.
I'm going Draymond Green. He's a way better defender than Bam Adebayo. He can guard 1 through 5. He impacts the team leadership wise. He's won multiple defensive players of the year. He still has the great defensive ability. He can shoot better than Bam Adebayo, and I just think Draymond Green's the overall better player. Why do you think Bam's better?
Well, Draymond's just old, and I mean, it's a power forward versus a center.
They're both the same thing. Draymond Green can play small ball center.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, Bam, I'd rather him in the paint over Draymond Green, in my opinion.
Okay. Why do you think Bam Adebayo's better?
Well, Draymond Green's he's washed.
Well,
he's
how
good.
old is he?
He's good.
Early 30s, late 20s?
He's still a good player, but I think in terms of leadership and intangibles, of course you want Draymond. I think he has unbeatable competitiveness, and I think he plays with a great edge, and I think he elevates his team really well. But I think Bam's a better defender. I think Bam's a better scorer at this point in his career. Draymond is a better playmaker. Like I said, he elevates his team, but I just think Bam's just better at this point in his career, especially athleticism wise too.
One thing here, if Bam replaced Draymond on the Warriors, do you think they'd make the Western Conference Finals?
No, because I think for the Warriors, if you lose one of Clay, Curry, and Draymond, no matter how good or bad they are now, if you want to call Clay Thompson washed, if you want to say Draymond Green's not in his prime anymore, I feel like you still need that DNA to be able to look like the same team and take them to the finals. Do I think Bam Adebayo could do the same as Draymond Green? Yes, but no. I think Bam Adebayo, just a part of Draymond Green's legacy with the Warriors is his leadership. That's one thing why Draymond Green is a better player than him. It's all the intangibles. I don't know if I'm saying the right word anyways. I feel like that's the reason why Draymond Green is the better player, and I'd rather have him on my team because he's able to make his teammates better, defend, momentum, he can carry that over, just all the little things. But I do think he is the better player as well.
I respect it.
Well, if you put Bam and Kevin Looney on the court at the same time too, that spacing's horrible.
No, yeah. So, even with Draymond and Kevon Looney, it's not that good.
Yeah.
To start with. Next name, Karl Anthony Towns. You.
I'm going Karl Anthony Towns.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take Bam.
Bam?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Karl Anthony Towns. I think he is the better player, even though success doesn't show for it. I think Towns is, if he was put in a role that Bam had, I think he could help the Heat by stretching the floor. Cat isn't really that good of a shot blocker though. He'll get you 10 rebounds, but he doesn't really do that dirty work that Bam does.
Yeah, for me it's just like Cat has had 5 years in the league where he's been considered a top 20 player, and I don't even know if he's ever made the playoffs. Maybe he has, but he hasn't got out in the first round for sure.
No, he hasn't.
And he's been a bottom 2 seed every time he's been in the playoffs. To me, playoff basketball is being able to play playoff basketball is huge, and I think Bam does a lot of things that don't show up on the stat sheet like you mentioned earlier. That Cat doesn't do. I think Cat does the opposite. I think Cat sometimes can put up empty stats, and I don't really like his mentality. I think Bam plays with more of an edge, and I think he's just the better player. It's hard to say, but I would say Cat's more skilled, but I would rather have Bam on my team, that makes sense.
In my opinion, Bam Adebayo and Karl Anthony Towns, they're both number 2 options. I do think Anthony Edwards is the number 1 on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yeah. But I think both of their roles, I feel like, are very different. Bam Adebayo is more the dirty work guy in the interior. Yeah. Karl Anthony Towns plays like a guard. So it's kind of they're the same position, but totally opposite play styles, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Why you saying Bam is, I can kind of get behind it. I think they're neck and neck for who's better.
Yeah.
Next name, Zion Williamson. I'm going to start with you.
Me?
Yep.
I mean, I'm gonna ride with my boy Zion here.
Okay. Let me know why right now.
Right now?
Yeah.
Well, see, I said the same thing about Jaren Jackson Jr. that he's hurt. Zion's always hurt too, but I think Zion's a much better player than Jaren Jackson Jr. is when he's healthy. That Pelicans team, I don't know about you guys, but I watched a lot of Pelicans basketball when he was healthy this year, and when he was on the court, that team is electric. They literally couldn't be stopped. I think they were
number 1 seed. Yes,
they were the 1 seed for about a 10-game stretch, and then when he went down, he was hurt. The same thing's not true with Jaren Jackson Jr. I just think the potential's through the roof with Zion. The player that he is just incredible. I think he's just got to worry about staying healthy, but I think he does everything better than Bam.
Let's hear it.
Zion, for sure, he's the better player, but Bam, I would definitely rather him on my team. Because Zion, will he ever play 60 games in an 82-game schedule?
Yeah.
You think so?
I personally, I want to say yes because I'm a huge Zion fan, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'm going to take Zion Williamson, but if you ask me this question a year from now and he does the exact same thing as this year, I'm fully out on Zion. I'm going to give him one more season to completely prove himself that he can get his body in shape and he can do all the other stuff, because when he is on the court, like you said, he is an elite player in the NBA. So for that reason, I'm going to take Zion over Bam Adebayo. The ceiling is way higher, and I feel like I would rather have Zion on my team, which could be a big what if, over Bam Adebayo, who's a max. He's a reserve on the All-Star team.
Yeah.
Get a little bit into more of what you think of Zion going into next season. What are you expecting?
Next season? Well, with the Pelicans, I think that team is like super talented.
Yep.
They've become one of my favorite teams to watch. They have Brandon Ingram, C.J. McCollum, Trey Murphy, who's a really good emerging scorer, and then Herb Jones, who's a super good wing defender. I think he was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate last year. I think that team's built for success, and I think the Pelicans have to be cautious with Zion. If that means you're sitting him 2 games in a row, you got to do what you got to do. Yep. I think they just got to make sure he's healthy for a playoff run. If they get into the playoffs and he's healthy, I expect big things from that team. I think they have a lot to prove going forward, and if he's healthy, I think they'll be huge players in the West.
I'm going to agree with you. I do think the New Orleans Pelicans, they have, if they can add maybe 1 to 2 more veteran pieces, I feel like this is a ready-to-win-now roster. If Brandon Ingram can play like he did this year, he was very good, despite him not being on the court a lot either.
Yeah.
And Zion Williamson, obviously, injury issues. I do think the Pelicans could reach the conference finals if, in a perfect scenario, I think they could reach the Western Conference Finals. They just need to make a couple key moves and make sure that Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram are as healthy as they can be going into the play-in or playoffs. Depends how many games they play, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm expecting Zion to just prove himself as a player in the NBA. I want him to be a top 25 player before I'm fully bought in on him. And do you guys think he's worth the max extension?
Well, yeah, he's got 1 year left too, doesn't he?
I think so.
Yeah, that's a hard one because his contract situation fully depends on next year.
John Morant already got paid that contract.
Yeah.
Zion, I wouldn't pay Zion right now.
Yeah,
I would not do it. I would not do it this year. If you can, who said 60 games on the court or whatever, 55 I'm fine with too. Who cares? If he can stay on the court for those amount of games and be healthy for a playoff series, I would absolutely pay Zion. But if it's something where shit hits the fan again and Zion Williamson goes down in the first 30 games, doesn't come back to the playoffs, and they're a first-round exit, and he's lingering injuries the whole playoff series, I'd be out on Zion Williamson.
I agree.
Completely agree.
What do you think you wouldn't pay him right now?
No, I wouldn't pay him right now. His contract, like I said, it fully depends on next year. You can't make that decision right now because when he has been on the court, he's been elite, and he's basically costed his team like 2 years in a row in the playoffs. If he does that 3 years in a row, you basically know that's going to be the trend for the rest of his career.
Yep.
So you can't pay a guy like that. That's not a guy that you want on your team and taking up cap space that you could be using on other pieces.
Completely agreed. All right, we're going into the last name of this segment. Victor Wembanyama.
What the heck?
I start with you, Joey.
Like right at this moment.
Right now.
Well, I'm taking Bam right now. I just don't know if Victor Wembanyama can do what Bam does on defense. I mean...
So, would you trade Bam Adebayo for the first overall pick?
Well, no shit.
Yeah, but right now as a player, you think Bam Adebayo is better in the NBA than Victor Wembanyama when he steps foot on the NBA court?
Like, right at this moment, I'm taking Bam, but first game next year, I'm taking Wembanyama.
Okay,
it's hard. Yeah.
Okay, so you're basically saying Wembanyama give him an off season,
give him an off season to bulk up.
But right now,
NBA,
Bam Adebayo is the better player than Victor Wembanyama. Okay, let's hear it.
If Bam and Victor Wembanyama played a 1v1, Bam's dropping his veggie straw ass off. He's gonna get snapped. Like, he's just too skinny. Like, he's basically like Giannis in his rookie year, plus 3 inches, minus like 50 pounds.
With a jump shot.
Yeah, he does have a jump shot, but Bam's an elite defender right now. I think he would lock his ass up. Wembanyama has a bag, but he's getting his ass kicked on defense too.
But also the NBA is turning into the softest sport. So, I mean, I think he's coming in at a great time to be able to...
He's going to get a lot of free throws.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
At this moment, I'm taking Victor Wembanyama over Bam Adebayo.
Oh
I
my
think if you
gosh.
insert Victor Wembanyama on the Miami Heat instead of Bam Adebayo right
They
now,
make it to the finals?
yes, I think they would be more successful. Because Bam Adebayo hasn't done all the... Can Victor Wembanyama get rebounds for you? Yes. Can he do all that? Sure, but I feel like he'd also provide scoring for them, and he'd provide a little bit more shot blocking than Bam Adebayo. So at this moment, it sounds crazy, but I'm taking Victor Wembanyama over Bam Adebayo if I were to put one of the two in the NBA Finals, let's say.
I just don't think a rookie center can take an 8 seed to the NBA
He didn't
Finals.
take the 8 seed. He helped.
Help. Well, yeah.
And he's been like the most... Bam Adebayo's been, what, third most important player on the team, honestly?
Yeah, he's been pretty useless.
Even though there's a lot of stuff that he has done that's underappreciated. But, yeah, at this moment, I definitely would take Victor Wembanyama. And going into the last part, we're going to do an NFL question to end
Okay.
the video. So we're going to do, which NFL rookie do you have the highest expectations for going into year one? I'm going to go first and let you guys think a little bit.
Okay.
The highest expectations I have for a rookie year one is going to be Jordan Addison of the Minnesota Vikings. I think that right here, Justin Jefferson, I think that he is going to see so much attention coming off Offensive Player of the Year and almost breaking the receiving record. I do think that Jordan Addison is probably going to be better than Adam Thielen this year.
Yeah.
And that's who they had as their number
yeah.
2 option. They're going to have TJ Hawkinson for a security blanket. But I do think that Jordan Addison can step right into the Minnesota Vikings and have a huge impact to their
You
team.
think he hits 1,000 yards?
It's a very hard projection. What
I
did
think he'd get
Jefferson?
900.
What did Jefferson have last year?
1,600?
More than that.
1,700? 1,750, I think he had.
I'll pull it up.
Pull it up. Yeah.
So Jefferson having high 1,700.
Does-
I would go out and say that. Give me how many yards Thielen had too last
Okay,
year.
Jefferson had 1,800.
1,800. Okay, so Jefferson had 1,800. How much did Adam Thielen have? Because do you think Jordan Addison could hit 1,000 yards?
I mean, I think it's going to be very hard for him to hit 1,000 yards, especially adding Hawkinson. Since watching the Lions, like he's a...
Thielen had 700
Yeah.
yards last year.
Yeah.
I'd say Jordan Addison will be 850
I
to
think he'll
950
be-
range.
I
I don't
think
think
he'll
he'll
be
touch
800.
1,000 because that's pretty crazy
Olave did it. Olave and Wilson did it this year. So.
as number ones.
Yeah, but who did... You had the red rocket thrown to him, Andy Dalton.
Still. But still, a number one option is a number one option.
Yeah.
I think Jordan Addison will be a little under 1,000 yards next
Yeah,
year.
I
A little
agree.
bit. So who do you have the highest expectations for going into next year?
You go first.
I mean, it's got to be one of the running backs, either Bijan or Jahmyr Gibbs.
Interesting.
But I'm going to go with Jahmyr Gibbs just because of the shock on draft night of him getting picked that high.
he
as
needs
a
to
running
prove
back.
it.
He needs to prove it, which I completely think he will.
It's very fair.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Do you have, as a Lions fan, do you have high expectations for Jahmyr Gibbs?
Yeah, like I expect him to be a huge contributor in our team. Picking him at 12, like it's obvious that we have a vision for him. So I'm super excited to see it, and I think he'll fit the role that Ben Johnson wants him to really well. But I am holding him to super high expectations right now, especially
Okay.
as a Lions fan.
Give me your rookie with very high expectations.
You know what? Since you already picked one of the running backs, I was gonna say Bijan, but I'm gonna go Bryce Young. Number one pick. I just think the way he plays the game is incredibly I just think it's incredible the way he plays the game. I think he's just a really good leader, and he's a really good player. I think the Panthers could sneak into the wild card. I think
weak
they could
division.
win the
Very
division,
weak division.
Terrible.
I guess. I don't think a team from that division is making the wild card, but I do think the Panthers can win the division.
Wild card is the first round.
Well, yeah, but
5, 6, 7.
I don't
But
expect them to make.
Oh,
5,
division.
6,
You don't
7.
expect them to win the division?
No, I do expect. I think
So they're a top 4 seed if they win the division.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So you expect them to have a home playoff game.
I think I wouldn't say expect them to, but I think they have a really good shot at it. I think they're up there for sure.
So 2 things. I think Bryce Young obviously has very high expectations because the Panthers had the option to go CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson because those were the rumors. Frank Reich, big quarterbacks. That's what he likes to work with. Anthony Richardson, most potential in the draft by far.
Yeah.
And CJ Stroud, in my opinion, was my number 1 quarterback who has the most tools at the moment due to size, I feel like. So let me ask you guys a question about the Carolina Panthers. Would you be completely shocked if they won a playoff game? Saying they play a wild card team like the Vikings, the Seahawks, the Giants. Would you be surprised if they beat that team?
If they beat the Seahawks or the Giants or the Vikings?
Like a wild card team like that.
Realistically, Bryce Young's gonna have to have an incredible season. I think their defense is pretty underrated.
It is
as of right now.
And the coaching staff, which we've been talking about, Ajir Evero, defensive coordinator, Frank Reich, head coach, Josh McCown, QB coach, all very, very
Good
top
coaches.
tier head coaching staff. So go ahead, carry on.
Yeah, I think Bryce Young's gonna have to have like an electric rookie year though, because that offense right now, I don't think they have enough firepower with just your wide receivers are Jonathan Mingo, DJ Chark,
Adam Thielen.
Laviska
Who's the tight
Shenault.
end? Tremble?
Yeah, like it's a bunch of wide
Running back
receiver
Miles
twos.
Sanders.
Miles Sanders.
It's not a terrible offense.
Their
Like,
O-line's
a lot of
alright, but-
tools to work with, but
Yeah.
can it take them over the top? I don't think so. What do you think? Would you be surprised if they won a
I would
playoff
be
game?
definitely very shocked because if they win whoever wins that division, we think they finish 4th. in the
Yeah,
NFC.
obviously.
Yeah.
I think
So-
it has to be. Who do we have? Eagles or Cowboys?
Yeah,
North,
Yeah.
Packers, Lions, Vikings,
Vikings.
and then 49ers or Seahawks.
Yeah.
Who else? 49ers, Seahawks, Rams,
Yeah, they're
no.
not winning it.
And
I don't think-
who's the other
yeah.
team?
Cardinals.
Cardinals, no.
Yeah.
So yeah, all those. There's no way the NFC South gets 10 wins.
No,
way.
I
Because all
think-
those teams will have 10, 11, 12 wins
Mm-hmm.
to win the
Because
division.
in my predictions, I have the Cowboys finishing 5th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cowboys would
Which
pack
the
them up,
Cowboys
probably.
would destroy them.
And because they would have a better record than the Panthers, but winning the division, obviously,
Yeah.
they would be lower. But that would be the first round matchup.
Yeah.
And similar to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year, even though they had Tom Brady, they played the Dallas Cowboys, and it wasn't a close game from the very start.
No.
And I feel like against a rookie quarterback with that defense, if that were to happen, that would be an absolute beatdown.
Yeah.
So that's going to do it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time on the Alec Frengos Show. Thank you.